So I've been thinking about targets and goals, short term and long term. Not big, dramatic kind, but not the kind of crap where you claim to transform your entire life by the end of the year, but rather mm, five specific things I want to move forward on. You can consider them micro goals, but they are concrete enough to know that I can actually tell whether I'm doing them or not. But before I get into them, I want to say something about where my head is right now. Health and workouts are still the priority. I talked about this last time. I started running again for the first time in 20 years, which still feels slightly insane, considering. And that's not going anywhere. I kept running. Um, and it's still painful though, but whatever else I'm building or experimenting with, that foundation stays. Everything else gets basically layered on top of it, not instead of it, right? So, five goals. The first one is blogging and content creation, I think. I want to increase my output on my personal blog first. I've been very inconsistent, which I know. I have things to say, I just haven't been showing up to say them regularly. So that's going to change. More posts, more often, but nothing too complicated. The second one is sleep. This is a harder one for me because I've had bad sleep for years. Not just I stay up too late, but just generally just really bad freaking sleep for a long time. I don't think I'm expecting a miracle, but I want to be more intentional about my routine and try to build something, at least rebuilding, basically resembling a more consistent sleep cycle with small adjustments first and then see what sticks. The third goal, because it's getting summer, water, more of it. Less coffee. I think I drink too much coffee, which I'm aware of it. And I'm not going to go cold turkey because that's never going to happen in a million years. But I want to tip, let's say, the scales towards a higher ratio, more water, and less reliance on caffeine to function. It sounds stupid, but I've been ignoring it for a long time. The fourth goal is, I think, the one I'm most excited about. I want to build a public roadmap of my content creation efforts and plans for 2026. It's not going to be just blogging, it's going to be the whole picture because I've been also working on other things aside, which I will reveal soon. Because what I'm doing right now, it goes beyond writing blog posts. There's now this journal podcast, there are platforms I'm expanding to, and there are things that I'm still figuring out. But I want to document that process very openly. Think of it as building in public, I think, sharing the thinking, just not a finished product. I don't have it all mapped out yet, but that's kind of the point. The roadmap will be the projects that I'm going to work on. And the journal will help me to stay consistent as well. The fifth goal is one that I've been sitting on for a while. I want to experiment with launching a faceless YouTube channel. I don't know if that's even still viable these days because there are, the market is insanely saturated, but it's an experiment, faceless YouTube channels. Just content. I'm curious whether I can make something work that doesn't depend on me being on screen. It might fail, but I think, even if it has a high failure rate, I still want to try it and figuring basically out is the only way that, I can know for sure. But one thing I'm committing to is keeping these goals very visible, not just to myself, but here. I want to keep track of each one of them in my journal, not in a formal kind of reporting, but I think just honest check-ins and explain where I'm failing, what I'm thinking, what's moving, and whether I change my mind about things. I think if something is not working, I just have to be very honest and I'll just say so. If something surprises me or I got an unexpected, let's say, turn of events, I'll say that too. And this podcast, this journal is already my space to think out loud, so it makes sense to use it this way as a running record of where these 5 things actually go. I mean, I'm not tied to 5 things, but this is the foundation. So what I like about keeping the list short is that I can actually hold it in my head. I think 5 things is very doable, and I know what they are. I can check in with myself at the end of the week and ask whether I have moved on of any of them. And that's where I'm right now. Not trying to overhaul everything at once, just 5 small or kind of small micro goals. Anyway, that's it for today. I will give another update in a few days, I think. Thank you for listening.